Hey, welcome to week 4, day 1 of our 1 John devotional. And in week 1, we had mentioned that we were going to come back to Psalm 32, back to what King David wrote. And today is actually that day. Before we read, though, we're going to talk about how we are going to read Psalm 32, and we're going to come back to it a couple of different times throughout the course of our devotional this week. And so there's this ancient practice called lectio divina in Latin, and it just simply means a divine reading. It's a creative way to read the scriptures and think more about what they have to say and to meditate on them and spend a little bit of time with the scriptures. The 4 parts of this lectio divina are simply called lectio, is part 1. It means we read and we listen to the scriptures. The second part is meditatio, to meditate on and explore the text. Number 3 is oratio, to pray and respond to what you've read. And then contemplatio, rest in God's word and consider what it might mean in your life. So I should apologize for the Latin reading of those words. I don't know pronunciation of things, but hopefully you understand at least lectio, meditatio, oratio, contemplatio, and we'll work through those together so you know at least the meaning of them, if not the pronunciation of those particular words. And so we're going to try it out today, reading Psalm 32 through slowly. And as we read it, again, you can pause and read on your own. I'm going to read it to you as well. But as we read together, we want to do that first, reading and listening. We want to ask some questions. What words or phrases stick out to you? Does your mind keep going back to a specific phrase or verse? And make note of that, recognize it, but don't do anything with it yet. Psalm 32. Blessed is the one whose transgressions are forgiven, whose sins are covered. Blessed is the one whose sin the Lord does not count against them, and in whose spirit is no deceit. When I kept silent, my bones wasted away through my groaning all day long. For day and night your hand was heavy on me. My strength was sapped as in the heat of summer. Then I acknowledged my sin to you and did not cover up my iniquity. I said, I will confess my transgressions to the Lord, and you forgave the guilt of my sin. Therefore, let all the faithful pray to you while you may be found. Surely the rising of the mighty waters will not reach them. You are my hiding place. You will protect me from trouble and surround me with songs of deliverance. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. Do not be like the horse or the mule, which have no understanding, but must be controlled by bit and bridle, or they will not come to you. Many are the woes of the wicked, but the Lord's unfailing love surrounds the one who trusts in him. Rejoice in the Lord, and be glad, you righteous. Sing, all you who are upright in heart. Now that you've read it and you've listened to it, the next part that we need to do is go back and meditate on the text. Examine it, read it through again. It's helpful to have an actual Bible in front of you, whether it's the YouVersion Bible app or a physical Bible. But I encourage you to underline or highlight or somehow mark up these verses. Do you see repeated words or themes or phrases in these verses? What kind of imagery is being used? What do you think King David meant as he penned these words? How do these words make you feel? What does this mean to you? Now, doing a whole lectio divina is more than we can fit into just one day of a devotional. So we're going to split the next 2 pieces of the lectio into day 2. However, if you have the time to do it in one day, we do recommend making the time to do it all at once. But this does end our day one devotional in week 4. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time as we continue our lectio divina.